Hey guys, happy Monday. Today is Monday, September 23rd, 2019. Up here at the beautiful Citrus Club with my equally beautiful friend, Beverly D. Burgess, the grant writing guru, diva, princess, queen. I don't know what I was going to use there, but we're going to use it all. Ken Williams is on. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you can hear us and see us. Beverly is a wealth of information. Hey, Autumn, what's happening? Gert Garman's on. Beverly is a huge wealth of information. If you've ever wanted to know about grants or what's going on behind the scenes in your city, that's a whole nother story we're going to talk about.
Yes, it is.
But today we're going to focus on business because I think a lot of people want to hear what you have to say. I think a lot of people see your activity on social media and people want. So we got the thumbs up, we got the hearts. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited.
Awesome.
We've been trying to do this for a while. Definitely my schedule, so apologies for that. But let's dive first into origin, because before we get into the meat of grants and what's going on in our city and what you do,
of the grants
meat and
and
potatoes and the money. Give me the money, show me the money.
Show me the money.
They want to know about Beverly, so give them a little background on you.
Well, Beverly. I'm Beverly D. Burgess, married. I have two beautiful boys, Clinton, MJ and CJ, Malcolm and Clinton. My husband Bravado has always supported me.
What's his name?
Bravado.
Bravado.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
Bravado, yeah.
I've met him.
And
Nice.
he's a nice guy. He's an Alabama boy, and I'm a Georgia girl.
That must be interesting.
Let me see. I worked for the state of Florida for 12 years.
What'd you do?
Department of Labor, Employment, and Training.
Wow.
Apprenticeship programs. I wrote programs.
Very cool. Now, how'd you get into that?
I fell into it by mistake.
Doesn't that usually
I
happen?
fell into it. I wasn't looking for it.
Love it.
And then the Bureau of Apprenticeship developed programs for Iron Workers of America, Steel Workers of America, JATC, City of Orlando, Orange County. We also contracted with NASA, Lockheed, Martin Marietta.
And so what kind of programs were you developing?
We were developing programs where if kids dropped out of school, we took those kids and we put them in a program where they could graduate and earn their GED, but also come out with a specific skill set in that trade.
I love that.
And so we would go to NASA and say, hey, we got these kids, they're going to be in our program either 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months. And once they graduate, they not only had their GED, but they had a job with NASA.
Wow. Now that's real job placement.
That's right.
Where did that program go?
Because
I'd like to introduce some people to that program.
I was working for Governor Lawton Childs.
Yeah.
I reported to him, and Charlie Crist came in. And unfortunately for my division, they shut us down. But the apprenticeship program is state and federally funded. So there is money. If I wanted to breathe life into it again, we could do that.
That's amazing, because there's so many, we're, in Ted's community, we're working on a kidpreneur, I can't say that word, but we're basically working on a program where we are trying to get kids who may not fit into that traditional mold of graduate high school, go to college. The thought process, we've forgotten in our country that we were built on trade. True. And the activity and the job placement in trade is big, but we don't really have any kind of encouragement for them to do it.
That's true.
So I love that. So we must talk about that on a future program, because I would love to hear more about that. I think that our youth are looking for something, and maybe college isn't for them.
College may not be for everyone, because most of the kids we dealt with did not want to go to college.
Correct.
So what we did was we would contract with NASA, Lockheed, and Iron Workers of America, Steel Workers of America, JATC, ABC. And what we would do, we would pay the employer $2,000 per student per month.
Wow.
And the student was earning, back in my day, I ain't gonna tell y'all how old I am.
Well, you said Lawton Child, so as soon as they have to Google that, I think they might know.
But they were earning above, like, between $10 and $18 an hour.
Wow.
So this was a program that the state created.
I love that.
When the kids did not, college isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
So they went into these programs and they graduated. And some of the students that graduated under our program are still with NASA, Lockheed, and Martin Marietta.
Isn't that amazing? And I think that there's something to that long term. You're building up this opportunity for them to have a career, a full life career
Right.
that they engage in the beginning and they grow in. Right now, when kids graduate high school or get their GED, if college isn't their option, they're usually going and working at nothing against it, closest fast food place,
Right.
restaurant, and there's really no career goal. They don't have any goals.
They don't have any goals. No one is encouraging
training.
it. No training. No specific skill set in anything. So people just, kids, when they graduate, they're like, what am I going to do? Same thing when you come out of college. People won't hire you because you don't have any experience.
Oh my God! So my biggest thing that I learned now, back in the Stone Age, we didn't do internships or have experience.
Right.
You had a resume. You made sure you got good grades. You took specific classes, and then you applied, and then you got a job. In this day and age, if you come out of college and you haven't done anything but go to college, you're going to have the hardest time finding a job, and then you're going to have all the student loan debt, which we talk about. I mean, it's just crazy out there. So to have to have a trade, to have a way or guidance for people, I think is awesome. Because there's a lot of kids floating around out there that have no idea what they're doing.
They don't, when they came out of school this year or some coming out of school next year, parents are really struggling to determine, what do you want to go to college? Do you not want to go to college? Because like I said, it's not for everyone. But, to have that skill set, those guys, when we worked at NASA 12 years ago and we had that relationship with them, I mean, some of my students still call me to this very day and say, thank you, Miss Beverly. Coming through your program was the best program that was created and invented by you. And, I'm still at NASA. And I'm like, what? You're still at NASA? And they said, I'm still at NASA.
They're lifers. But don't you I wish that we had more of that opportunity. We need to help them create more. All right, so how did you graduate from that? Once the program got shut down, then how did you dive into, or how did you get involved with grant writing? Now I've got experience in this, so I think that's one of the reasons why we originally connected. My master's degree is in, again, school's not for everyone, so I don't know how I did it. My master's degree is in healthcare administration, and my focus was nonprofit. So I worked for the state of Florida, helped write a lot of grants. Understand that process, which it's a very labor-intensive process, guys.
You got it.
Lots of pages and lots of information.
Lots of wording.
Lots of repetitiveness too. So how did you dive into that?
Well, after I lost my job with the state, I did some HUD housing consulting for private owners. I would go to HUD and get the funding for their projects.
These are big developments.
These are big multi-million-dollar projects. So this was either tear it down or start new construction, and this wasn't small money. These were $20 million deals on the table. Some of them were $150 million. So I would go get their paperwork, put all their paperwork in motion to get funded. Because there's a process to HUD. That's a beast by itself.
I mean, we live, eat, and breathe in that world on the mortgage side, so we understand. The real estate side, we understand. HUD
is something else. So we would work on those different aspects, senior housing, veteran housing, rehabilitation. I actually pulled a property out of receivership.
Nice.
So that was a whole new experience for me. Right. So once that ended with HUD, spent 12 years with the state of Florida, 31 years with HUD. I was a little, I didn't have nothing to do, so I just said, I got 43, almost 44 years of experience, and I was on Facebook. And
retiring to the beach was not an option?
For me. That was not for me. So, because I was embedded in this, and so I wanted to teach. Because I kept getting the same repetitive questions of what is a 501c3? What do I need to do? What people didn't even know what a DUNS number was. They thought the DUNS number and the federal tax ID were the same. And I said, oh, no. These are two separate entities.
We're all learning right here, Beverly.
So I came up with, talking to some other grant writers on Facebook. I prayed about it. And then 4 o'clock in the morning, Grant Writers of America was born.
Which I tagged so you guys can look it up. But Grant Writers of America, so this is not you aren't just grant writers, you're also teaching. You're helping because, I'm only going to show this just teeny little piece of paper, but you've got there's lots of paperwork. This is just the description of the grant, these grants. It is labor intensive. And when people say to me, well, a grant seems like a lot, somebody else will get the money. Yeah, somebody who took the time to flesh it out and write it up. but there's a formula to it that I feel like Beverly is the guru of, because once you get used to it, you kind of know based on the grant and how it flows.
It flows.
But I think people don't understand about grants. So what is a grant? So a grant comes in, like somebody offers up, let's say $1 million grant, and it's for a project that you have a heart for, and you think you can implement that grant.
Right.
What's the process? Do they come to you and say, all right, Beverly, I need help fleshing this out and making it real?
Well, what I usually do is I make sure that you are registered with the state of Florida. You have your EIN number, your DUNS number, because those are going to be the first.
What's a DUNS number again?
The DUNS number is.
Because I'm a dunce.
That DUNS number is that federal agency of the government that when they want to identify who you really are, they're not going to look for your tax number. They're going to look for the DUNS number, because that is what goes into the SAM system, which is something else we'll talk about. But that is how they recognize you in the grant world, is with your DUNS number. And there's a 1-800 number where you can call. You can get your DUNS number usually within 24 to 48 hours. Once I verify you're in the system, federal tax ID and DUNS number, I then come to you and ask you, okay, what is the purpose? What is the goal of the grant? What is the grant going to do for the community?
Now, do people come to you, because what I would want to know is a nonprofit, because that's, again, my world. So I come to you with a specific grant, or can I come to you and say, this is what I do, are there any grants out there for me?
You can go
do
either
both?
way. I
Okay.
can do both, because I can research, and or if you have a specific, you have a specific grant for this, then I can pull that information and say, okay, this is my targeted area. So what I do is a demographic statistical study, and I just say, okay, let me look at where you live at and see, just right in Orlando, what other monies are available to you. You don't want to be short-sighted. When I plan for my clients, like Ted Bogert, I do a 5 to 20-year plan, because once I implement that 20-year plan, you're funded for 20 years. Never go year to year, because they could cut your budget. Always go 5, 10, 15, or 20.
I think the arts in Orlando experienced that recently, right?
Yes.
Because the arts funding statewide got cut by about 98%. All of the arts funding, and so all of the arts groups in Orlando were scrambling for their funding for the next year. And of course, if you have all those arts groups, guess what? You're all going to the same rest of the resources to try to figure it out. Because I think the year-to-year is very difficult. I didn't like working on year-to-year grants, unless it was a short-term project. If it was something short-term, then I was like, okay, I get it. But I think that a lot of people are afraid. So what is a nonprofit? I would imagine, and if they're not, when we share this in all of my nonprofit world, I would imagine the nonprofit world would be ringing your phone off the hook. They're good, because they are not getting the funding, and guess what? In this day and age, people aren't giving the money that they used to give, or the nonprofits have literally asked and trying to take blood from a stone for the 900th time with their donor list, and they don't know how to raise money anymore.
They don't know how to raise money. What the art world has done, they don't access corporate money. Corporations have a lot of money. Like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they have foundations. They give away money to the arts all the time. We never tap into it. The National Arts Endowment Foundation gives away money. Sorry about that. Let me see who else gives away money. The state of Florida gives away money. You have to know how the banks give away money. The banks have a program called the CRA, the Community Reinvestment Act, that Obama put on the books. Each bank can give away up to $250,000. You hit 5 banks, you good to go.
Right.
But they don't ask because they don't know how to access it, and then people don't want to do the paperwork. You must do your paperwork. That's the only way they're going to cut the check.
So I want to give a shout out. Everybody's been saying hi.
Hello.
Great information. Janelle has her done number. GP Piz, who I love the purple, thank you. Hey Jason, thank you for that. So let's say I want to come to you and I go, I've got an idea, Beverly. I want you to find a grant to fund all of the jackets and the shirts and the shoes that I have to buy on a regular basis. But I'm giving you an example.
Yeah.
So somebody's got a nonprofit and they go, okay, I want to do.
You know I could do that. Right?
You know what? And I'm gonna hit you up for that because Lord, Stacy's gonna be first in line to get to that one. But I think let's say somebody's got a pet project.
Okay.
They want to help homeless veterans, which is going on a lot, and they come to you with an idea. There are resources out there that they could Google on their own. You could, but why would you do that when you can get in a group, or you can be part of, or you can utilize the talents in a group like Grant Writers of America? It's all one resource of a whole bunch of great minds who are doing nothing but focusing on that and focusing on the education.
So, and that's what we do. When Grant Writers of America was born, we collectively, we have grant writers from Italy, Spain, Russia, Germany. You name it. We got them in the United States, all around the world, Philippines. There are international grants you can apply for, but people don't ask the question. And like Ted's, okay, let's say I want to fund Ted's wardrobe. Ted is doing something for the community.
I love this topic.
You know what I would do? I would go pitch Ted to Macy's and Bloomingdale's. And I would, if Macy's and Bloomingdale's didn't step up the way I want, because I know both of them have foundations, by the way, then I would get on over to Neiman Marcus and a few other people I know, and I might hit Tiffany's up for some bling, while I'm in the process.
Now we're talking. Now it's about me. Hello.
Because there's money out there for this, okay? And as long as you're doing something that is community-based, that is going to benefit the people, that is going to change people's lives, like homelessness. Anything that, like what Ted is doing, this benefits the community. People will fund it for 5 to 20 years. Never go year to year because you're wasting your time. I could literally once I get Ted rolling, he probably wouldn't have to buy a wardrobe for about, 10 years?
I like this discussion so much. That dawned on me. I don't do prep questions, so I didn't realize until somebody said nice purple pen.
Look at how nice he's looking today, ladies.
Thank you.
But I'm just saying, they give away clothing, they give away checks because you are doing something.
Because you're impacting.
You're impacting lives.
You're doing something that is definitely more worldly, and it doesn't have to be all over the globe. It can be in your local community, but you're impacting the community in a positive way.
By the way, Gucci and Coach have foundations, okay?
Listen, Gucci,
and
if you're
Coach,
listening,
they have
Coach
foundations.
Too.
Neiman Marcus has a foundation,
Neiman.
And they come under the Bloomingdale's brand. Do your homework.
I'm having the best day ever. But these are important things. So somebody has an idea. The great thing about, and I tagged the page, the great thing about Grant Writers of America and Beverly is that there is no idea that you can't throw at her.
That's it.
And so what I love about her, the many things, but her creativity. So if you've got something that, and 9 times out of 10 she's going to have dealt with it before. Let's say you throw a crazy idea out. If she thinks it's interesting, she's going to try to find
the money.
A grant. She's going to try to find the money. And I think we need more people like that. I think it can be such a Herculean task to try to get through that paperwork. When we used to do RFPs, which was this whole submission to the state, right? So it's it feels like it's 9 billion pages. You're repeating yourself 100 different times.
And
they're asking you
the question.
It's just so labor intensive. And what I swear to God, they create that, not only from legal point, but to try to dissuade the people who aren't really in it to get the money.
That's true.
So we have all of these grants that are available, and even in the city, like Beverly was saying, each locality, each municipality
has money.
Each county. There are so many and departments. I'm going to tell you there are so many ways that you can get money for, set a goal, Jason, you're right. You can get money for a project. It's just, do you have the time to do it? And if you don't, well, guess what? Now you have a resource, which is Miss Beverly Burgess and Grant Writers of America. I just think it's so important because I hate to see that money go out of our community because we didn't apply for it, or we lose the funding, which happens a lot in funding, the way,
That's true.
because we don't use it. So we used to have to use every federal dollar, every state dollar, every local dollar in the community that I was working in on the grants. And if we didn't, guess what? We didn't get it the next year.
That's true.
Even if it was a 3-year grant, if we came back and said, well, here's 100,000 of it back, they're like, oh yeah, you're an idiot, Ted. We're not giving you that grant again because you didn't even spend it the way you said you would.
Right, and that's where accountability and transparency comes in. And we touched on this earlier in the conversation about corporate money. Where you shop at, like Publix has a foundation.
Love Publix.
Okay? Coca-Cola, Zephyr Hills, all the products you use, these big companies have to get rid of this money. If they don't, they're taxed 55% on it.
Wow.
So they want to give it to you. Like Coca-Cola gives away 4 grants, $50,000 a year, just to go out in the community, Ted, and just talk to people.
All right, so I have to ask. If I was on the other side, I would ask this question, but I already know the answer. Why does Beverly Burgess do this? What's your why?
My why is I'm very passionate about education. I love teaching people. I like helping them get through those stumbling blocks that are in front of them. I like sitting down with them and educating them so when they see it again, they'll know how to go around that stumbling block. They'll know how to access that money. And I'm just very passionate about it. I love teaching. That is my thing. You put together a class, and I'll give you my fee, and hey, I am there, okay?
Well, that's what I want people to understand. So Beverly, much like me, we're not Rockefellers. So when she does her work, there has to be a cost to her work. So sometimes people that's why I'm trying to get to that point. Mm-hmm. It's not, she has to pay her bills.
That's true.
And this is nothing she's brought up to me. I'm just telling you. So when you reach out to her, there's going to be a fee. She's not just doing this because she's lollygagging around the pool and having a cocktail. And she's like, oh, let me help you with your 45-page grant. There has to be something in it for her. So her why, she has a passion for it, but there's still a cost. Like all of us have a business in some way, shape, or form, and there is a cost. So Janelle asked the cost, and I'm going to tell you that when you should reach out to Beverly, because I would imagine it just depends on the volume. A 3-page grant versus a 100-page grant are going to be completely different.
It varies.
Also, her research on a 3-page grant or a grant she's done before are going to be different than something she's got to go. It's going to take her a month to figure out where to go, where the resources are. It's a different thing. So I would imagine that it's different, Janelle, to answer your question. But there has to be some sort of cost. There has to be something you're willing to give. Remember, she's going to go in and do all of your paperwork. You're going to be answering the questions, or you're going to do for a fee. You're going to find them what they want. If they want to do it, okay, you go do it.
Yeah.
Good luck. You go do it. Beverly's got the experience and the wherewithal, and she knows how to put the grants together.
And
What's
that's
up, Melissa?
Hello, Melissa. And that's the beauty of it. I love what I do. I'm passionate. I do have my own consulting business. I do teach. I've been invited to Atlanta 3 times now.
That's right. You have big Atlanta contacts.
Big Atlanta contacts. Atlanta ain't playing. Y'all playing. Atlanta's not playing with it. And then I just got invited by a bishop and his organization to teach 52 churches.
Nice.
52 churches to go out and teach this, because now churches are realizing they're that fabric in the community. There's a lot happening. They can do housing. They can offer a lot of services. So now churches are going to the grants and saying, well, since we're a business, why not get the money?
Correct.
This is a business. And so now, churches are really getting involved with this whole process.
Right.
And they say, we want to learn. We don't want to just you to hand us the paperwork. We want you to educate us.
I love the education part, because at some point it depends on where you're at, right?
Right.
Somebody like me who hates paperwork, which is why I'm a business development manager at the home team of Freedom Mortgage, not the loan officer in the field. I don't like paperwork. I don't want to deal with that. But I want to bring you to the promised land of somebody who's going to help you, that can do the promised land work, who can do the paperwork. It depends on your level. Like, where are you at?
That's true.
And I would always I feel like there's such a wonderful premium dollar on having somebody else do that work that you don't want to do, so you can focus on the things that you do best, like provide the services that you're working on, and community outreach and community relations. Whatever your need is, you're out there doing the things you do, and then There is a cost to having somebody like Beverly and Grant Writers of America get involved, but that cost is allowing you to go out and spread your wings in so many different other areas. Thank you, Melissa. And I think it's just so important to kind of figure out what your balance is. Look, if you've only got this little bit of a budget and you say, just show me the way, Beverly, and then I'll take it from there, great. If you're like, holy God, I just want to get out and outreach, I'm going to give blankets to the homeless, feed the homeless, and while I'm doing that, I need you to find me money in order to keep doing it, that's a different level. So everybody's got, yes, we have unique gifts, and there are people who love paperwork. That is not my gift, ever.
I do.
But she's amazing at it. She's amazing at it. All right, so we have talked about what you do. We have shared, and we will share more information on how you can reach out, see how quick it goes, how you can reach out to Beverly, how you can get involved with Grant Writers of America, how you can be educated, how you can find out what's out there, because she's an amazing resource for that. All right, so we always talk about mentors, and you and I are both big time trying to be mentors in the community, trying to help the community
we work
out.
hard at it.
But I think it's so important, more people need to get involved. So give a shout out to a mentor who helped you along the way.
Well,
somebody who was...
I'm going to tell you right now, the person that really helped me and kind of pushed this along was Ted Boker.
Now, you said that earlier, and I said,
I'm serious, y'all.
I'm already red. I'm going to get embarrassed.
No, but really, when I first met Ted 3 years ago, Ted is very analytical. He analyzes a lot of stuff, okay? And he'll sit back and watch and see what you're going to do with something. And he says, well, if you...
That's
you got
a secret, Beverly.
Well, not
Most
anymore.
People think I'm not smart.
But Ted was like, pushing me in that direction. And then you also have to look in yourself and say, what gifts can I bring to my community? What can I offer people? I've been doing this for 44 years. I'm 56, I'm fabulous, and I'm proud of it.
I love it.
And I'll be like, don't let this fool y'all, okay? And I wanted to, under Marsha LaBrie, who got me into this arena, at 12 years old, I wanted my own money, so my mother said, go to work. So I went to work. I've been working since I was 12. And I got into this arena, and I stayed, and I never left. And I just love the fact, being around Ted Boger, being around my husband, who supports me 100%, my sons, single women in my community, and I've been educating veterans lately. My husband's a Marine. And
God bless.
It's so much out there we can offer each other and help each other. But if you take the time just to do the work and you learn how this flows, I can assure you of one thing. Once you figure out that flow, it flows. You'll process. I sat at my desk and processed 40 grants last night like there were nothing. I was just rolling. I was getting it done. And I get it. The light comes on.
That's amazing.
But with corporate grants, I became a corporate expert grant writer because corporations will reach out to me and say, you know what, Beverly? December 31st is coming. We got money we got to get rid of.
Right. Can you imagine that, guys?
They want to give it to you.
They want to give it to you, but you have to go through the process to make it legit and legal. For them, really, for them. They
reach out to me. Guys, I'm talking some major CEOs that call this phone and say, do you know someone that can use a couple of $1 million, and if they have their paperwork together, we'll stroke a check.
I'm there.
Yeah, I know you are.
It's called the Ted Show or Ted's Community.
And it's just like Ted with, Ted thinks it's a joke about this wardrobe. But man, I could hook Ted up with some
I'm
design.
not forgetting that. No chance on the planet. If I remember anything today, it's going to be that piece.
Ted will be so brand new around here, y'all won't be able to deal with it. So I'm just saying, it is amazing to what people will give you. AT&T has a technical grant out now.
It's amazing.
For $10 million, y'all. I looked at it last night. It's to do something with technology, and they want to help kids 12 to 18.
We got it. We got to do more work.
We got to do more.
All right, so Beverly Burgess.
Yes.
Beverly D. Burgess, Grant Writers of America. By the way, shout out Rose. Don't forget to vote in the Aura elections this week. Vote for Rose and Rosie. You know you're good people. But Beverly is absolutely amazing, and she is a giver. So please, please, please reach out to her. She's going to answer you. She's super good on the phone, which you guys know I'm not. She's good pretty much in every other thing that she does. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you so much for all you do for our community.
Oh, you're welcome.
And help people out. Reach out to her. She's an amazing resource. And there's money, people.
Money.
There's money to be had.
Lots of money.
We're leaving it on the table. It's almost last quarter, which I like to call Tedtober or Tedapalooza, which is my birthday month, and the rest of it coming up. It's all about me today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I need to shut it down,
you're
Ted.
in your moment.
I'm
You're
in my
in your
moment.
moment.
Well, I'm thinking about all the clothes.
All the clothes, the shoes, the bling.
But I love your energy. You're just so amazing. You're the best. I love Beverly. She's
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Reach out to her. We love you guys. I'm headed out, believe it or not, to film a TV segment on Afrotainment, which is a beautiful Afrocentric branch of NBC this afternoon. Super excited for that. But it's really about getting the money in the community, getting money for your causes. And there is no better person on the planet than Beverly D. Burgess. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Love you, Beverly.
Thank you.
Reach out to her. All right. Mwah. See you back tomorrow.
See you soon. Bye-bye.